Walter Elias Disney, aka Walt Disney, was born on December 5, 1901 and died December 15, 1966. He was an American motion picture and television producer, an engineer, animator, entrepreneur, and lastly, co-founder of Walt Disney Productions. One of Walt Disney's most well-known characters is Mickey Mouse. Between 1942 through 1945, Walt Disney was involved in the production of propaganda films for the U.S. government. The familiarity of Walt Disney benefited the U.S. government in an effort to increase support for the war. All of Disney's insignia productions was done by the studio free of charge as a donation to the war effort. Disney Productions created over 1,200 designs during World War II for all of the U.S. Armed Forces. Their most requested was Donald Duck. His quick temper and fighting spirit appealed to all services. The Naval Operations Office requested Disney to make an emblem for their new mosquito boats. The emblem created was a mosquito holding a bomb between its legs. The Navy liked Disney's work so much that they told other forces about it. Once they were told, they bombarded Disney with many requests. Disney created the New Spirit in 1942 after a request from the Secretary of the Treasury Department to make Americans accept the payment of income taxes. The Spirit of 43 followed in 1943. In this film, Donald deals with income taxes and shows their benefit to the American war effort.
Disney was also involved in Air Force propaganda. He created aerology films to teach airmen about flying techniques and problems they would encounter. Some of his team actually learned to fly to better understand the Air Force. One propaganda film is Victory Through the Air, a short cartoon that explained air warfare and strategic bombing. Disney created a promo booklet for the LA War Chest. Disney illustrates Chesty, Polly, Paul, and their helicopter friend Copty, who drop supplies to children and guerrilla fighters. The second edition in 1944 included topics such as German bombing attacks on England, B-29 bombers, and the Second Front in Europe. Disney created illustrations for the U.S. War Finance Committee. The Fifth War Loan Drive in 1944 included the Series E small denomination bond. Disney allowed his characters to be used to promote the Bonds for Babies campaign. A certificate was given to everyone who purchased a bond in the name of a young child or a baby.
The short film, Education for Death, The Making of a Nazi, is about how children is brainwashed into the Nazi society. In this film, you follow a young Aryan boy named Hans, who throughout the years is taught about how only the strong survive and the weak deserve to die. After years of learning, he ultimately dies in the battlefield. The short film, Education for Death, The Making of a Nazi, is about how children is brainwashed into the Nazi society. In this film, you follow a young Aryan boy named Hans, who throughout the years is taught about how only the strong survive and the weak deserve to die. After years of learning, he ultimately dies in the battlefield. The short film, The Furious Face, is about Donald Duck living in Germany during the war. In the film, he serves as a weapon manufacturer that is severely abused and mistreated the whole movie. He then awakens from his nightmare to find that he actually lives in America. He then states that he loves being free in America.
Disney created illustrations for the U.S. War Finance Committee. The Fifth War Loan Drive in 1944 included the Series E small denomination bond. Disney allowed his characters to be used to promote the Bonds for Babies campaign. A certificate was given to everyone who purchased a bond in the name of a young child or a baby. One of the most popular campaigns was the one for Victory Gardens. Victory Gardens encouraged Americans to grow and preserve their own fruits and vegetables in order to send more to the troops. The Green Thumb Contest record book was used to record crops and their weight. The contests were held at local, state, and national levels. The winner would win a $1,000 war bond.
During the war, Americans had to go through the inconvenience of food rationing. Sugar and coffee were rationed first, followed by produce foods, meat, and dairy products. In this photo, Mickey and his friends look seamlessly satisfied after leaving the Super Duper market with purchased items while holding a ration booklet which held ration coupons. The short film, The Furious Face, is about Donald Duck living in Germany during the war. In the film, he serves as a weapon manufacturer that is severely abused and mistreated the whole movie. He then awakens from his nightmare to find that he actually lives in America. He then states that he loves being free in America.
In many of Disney's short films, the Axis power were made fun of in a racist way. In Education of Death, the Germans were depicted as aggressive followers of the Nazis. In Bugs Bunny Nips the Nip, Bugs Bunny landed on Japan and made racist remarks to the people such as slanted eyes and monkey face. The overall impact of Disney were both good and bad. The short film Spirit of 43 encouraged Americans to save money so they could pay their income tax to aid the soldiers. However, negative effects of propaganda include telling people what they should do and encouraging racism and violence. Disney films were shown only to adults, but Disney propaganda also influenced children. The Victory March booklet were given to young people to encourage the purchase of stamps. The Victory Garden posters encouraged children to plant their own victory gardens. Part of the appeal of these propaganda posters were the cute cartoon characters. In addition to propaganda, Disney also created films and booklets that provide war education for citizens and the army. Disney taught citizens to be aware of spies and produced training booklets and safety education films for the U.S. Army and Air Force. One would think that Disney propaganda would be banned after World War II because of its violent and racist messages. However, they weren't. The war was over and it didn't affect the people anymore. Over time, these propaganda became out of date and irrelevant. Disney propaganda films are still easily accessible today.